Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back. How you doing? I'm doing okay. So I got a package in the mail today. This little guy right here. What do you think this is? Talked about it in a previous video. This is the $2 fuel pump. If you guys want to see me open the $2 fuel pump, click subscribe. If you're already subscribed, leave a comment and say, yo bro Popsicle, I want to see the $2 fuel pump. Let's get it. Let's get this thing open. Bubble wrap. So you order bubble wrap and then you get free fuel pump. She's just a little guy. Look at this thing.
That's pretty blue, Dad.
It is a pretty blue. It is.
And
these are just some
really
plugs
dark
though.
Black.
So nice plug. I don't know what kind of plug that goes on, but that's nice that it does have a plug. This comes with some hose clamps and a little piece of hose. Looks like maybe on the side. Looks like a 5/16 hose. Let's check this fuel pump out. I did get some wiring. So I looked through, got some old wiring here. And I'm just gonna use this alligator clip to run it because there's no plug. So I was thinking about this. I'm like, yeah, cool. I got some wiring, all good to go. We can test it, make sure it runs. And then I was thinking it's gonna be hard to compare it to my other fuel pump because that one is regulated and this one is not. So I was trying to figure out a way to regulate it. And then I'm like thinking, oh, I could probably just take this fuel pump and then pull it off of here and run the same regulator with this other line hooked up. I'm like, all right, that's not too bad. So then I looked at this plug, this wire harness. Like, well, that looks an awful lot like this other one here. So then I tested it. And sure enough, it just plugs right in there. And I'm thinking like, oh, this looks awfully similar here. So then I went a little bit, dug a little bit deeper, pulled the little sock off the bottom, pulled this guy off, and like this is almost the exact same pump. Like it pretty much is the same pump. Look at this. It's like the exact same thing. $2. What I'm going to do is a test with both fuel pumps now. These were already tested with the original fuel pump. That one's from a 98 Ranger. These were tested at 170. This was at 175. So what that means is on this test setup with that old pump, running 2 injectors at a time, these came out at 170 milliliters after 20 seconds of the pulsing test that I did. So this was at 170, this was 175. So I'll duplicate the test. I'm going to put these injectors in. Remember 170, 170, 170, 175. I'll do the same test, 2 at a time, run them for 20 seconds, and see what they come out with both pumps. I'll run the test again with both pumps. I'll do it, see if I can confirm this test, and then I'll run it with the new $2 pump and see what we come up with. Okay, so now that we got this little guy all set up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the little screen, this little rubber boot off the bottom of this. I'm going to hook it back up to the original pump. So this is the factory setup. This is originally how I set it up when I did the test. Same thing, hooked up. I'm going to use the wire harness, unplug it. So that comes out really easy. Came out of the green one really easy too. I don't know why, it was really hard to do before. But okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Scientific olive jar. Plug that thing in there, pump some juice into it, and we'll be off to the races. So I will add right away that this is one variable to the test from when I originally did the injectors. So this was in a different jar. So that is one variable that has changed since the original test. So that's why I want to do another test. Kind of get a new baseline. And then we can test the other pump. Kind of learned this over doing a few different tests. When I first fill it, I need to purge some of the air out of the system. So I'll run the pump and you'll see this come up, but it'll be kind of slow. Make sure that I just have fuel coming out. All right. So now that I know the system is full of fuel, I'll dump this back in. All right, so now we'll be ready to do the full 20-second pulse test. So you'll be able to see the pressure up here. It should stay around 50-55 pounds. 50 psi is right at 12 o'clock. So we'll do the 20-second test with the Ranger pump. Fuel pump on. And we'll do a 20-second test. Alright, fuel pump off. It's at 20.08 seconds. So this line here is 175, this is at 180, and this is at 175. So 175, 180. Now we'll switch to the other two injectors. I do want to say that I did charge this battery overnight, so it might be getting a higher voltage than when I did the initial test. That would explain why it's running a little bit more fuel. But just when we compare the two pumps, that's really what we're concerned about. All right, so we'll do the same test, 175, 180. All right, so we'll start this test. 20 seconds. Factory pump. Oh, so here it is, 175, little over 175, 175, 175. So that was the test, almost all the way across the board. This one's a little closer to 180, but that was the test with the 98 Ranger factory fuel pump. But I do have the other pump in there. Here is the factory Ranger pump, and then I probably shouldn't have filled this, but this gas looks freaking nasty. So here's they set it up the exact same way with the sock filter thing on the bottom and the rubber boot and everything. So there's the $2 pump inside there. I have to show you because I know you all think I'm lying. Not like it really matters because it's a $2 pump and I really don't have anything to gain from it except my personal satisfaction of it being a $2 pump. So I'm going to do the same test now. Remember, it was basically 175 across the board. And worst case, this thing just blows up as soon as I flip the switch on. Didn't blow up, that's a start. Purge some of the air out of it. Pressurize the rail again. I'm gonna dump this back out so it doesn't throw the reading off. And I'll get ready for the test. So here we go. I'm going to turn the pump on. We'll do the 20-second pulse test again. We'll do these two, then these two. Uh, 19.99 was the time. I did want to add, watch the gauge. Go back and watch the gauge or watch it on the next test. This thing is all over the place. So we got basically 180 on that test and about 190 there. So that's interesting. It's actually a higher reading, but this gauge is not consistently holding pressure like the other test was. The other test, it usually bounces between 50 and 60. This thing was like between probably 20 and 70, it looked like. All over the place. So I'm gonna switch the injectors. Got these things hooked up, so just for good measure and so I don't run out of fuel. This thing is at 180 right now. That's 5 above 175, for those that were wondering. Alright, so now I'm going to run these two injectors. We'll do the same test. Pump is running, ready to pulse. So see how that gauge is like flying all over the place? It's like between 35 and 85. .10, and this thing is at 190 and just about 190 again. No, really. Now this is right after the test. Just about 190, and about just under 190 again. Okay, so keep in mind that this test was done with decapped factory, basically LS-based fuel injectors. So they're 28 pounds of fuel stock, they're decapped, they flow probably about 72 pounds of fuel per hour, and basically between the two pumps, the new pump, the $2 pump, picked up about 6 pounds of fuel per hour. So 15 milliliters in 20 seconds. 98 Ranger fuel pump is pretty old. The new pump, the $2 pump, is actually performing a little bit better. The pressure on the gauge is very inconsistent though. The pressure with the Ranger fuel pump is bouncing about 10 psi back and forth, which I think is pretty normal. But that one was just all over the place. It was like between 25 and 80. So that was kind of weird, but it did actually flow more fuel. So I would maybe think that's because it's a newer electric motor that's running the pump, but it was $2. So am I happy with it? Yeah, of course. The place that I got that from, for some reason, only lets you buy one pump or one unit every 10 days. So I did buy a second one. That one's on the way. I think I'm probably just going to keep buying other pumps. I don't know what I need them for, but I'm kind of a hoarder sometimes, so maybe we'll do something else. But one benefit that I do see with that pump is I'll be able to actually use the Ranger pump and this pump, or the second pump, and then be able to run 4 injectors at the same time on this test. The decapped injectors flow so much fuel that I can't use a factory pump, and with holding a decent pressure. So with the 2 pumps, I should be able to hold a good pressure. So that's kind of exciting. The test rig will be a little bit better after that. So hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching, guys. $2 fuel pump for the win.